wait people who would like to join us. I think I can start.
Sure.
So yeah, my name is Mila. I'm head of PR at ChangeHero, and I will be your host for today.
Excellent.
Yeah. So if you have never heard about ChangeHero, it's an instant crypto exchange where you can quickly step more than 150 coins, including PIVX token, right? So you
Yes.
can do it with your crypto wallet or credit card. You can find the link in the ChangeHero bio or in the comments below. So just, I think when people would, maybe someone going to join us, I will repeat these things. It would be nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I think it would be good to start with explaining our main topic.
Sure.
Early, ChangeHero listed the PIVX token and has shared a lot of insights on the project like infographic and guide. And today we're really so lucky to meet you, Hans. Yeah, we are going to discuss the PIVX project, its benefits, and maybe some plans for the end of this year. So it would be nice if you can start with a short introduction of yourself. Can you tell us how you entered the crypto industry, how you joined the PIVX project as a DAO advisor?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. And I would like to say us because PIVX is a community project. So there's no individual who is in charge. There's no individual who is really important. We are all PIVX. So thank you for having us. That said, my name is Hans Koning. I'm a DAO advisor to PIVX. And I got involved in blockchain and crypto out of curiosity, I guess. And as most of us, at one point in time, I got interested in, hey, there's this thing called Bitcoin, and it has value. Why do people have money to buy something that is actually nothing? So you start reading about it, you start learning about it, and that's how you sort of get into the concept of decentralization, of blockchain, of cryptocurrency. That's how I got involved, and I've been always an advocate for governance. How do you organize and structure a project, but also how do you engage and communicate and interact with the community. I've done that in involvement for various projects, and at the moment I'm the DAO advisor to PIVX.
I'm sorry, you hear me? So I'm sorry.
I'm really sorry, Mila, but the audio is quite bad at the moment. I couldn't hear your question.
So, my internet, I would try to. I'm sorry, just I have a little bit not so good connection. Just a second.
Sure. Otherwise, if it's an
If
issue, I do have the questions. You sent me the questions, so if it is a problem, I can just go through the questions myself. But I obviously prefer you to ask me the questions.
Yeah, sure. But right now I am hearing you perfectly. I'm so sorry interrupting you.
No,
Yeah,
I can hear you now
no
as
worries.
well. It's fine now.
So I think that it would be nice if you could maybe share with us, if you know, what there is the story behind the development of PIVX project.
Well, let me say what the story behind PIVX, and I think that's always a nice story to tell. First of all, I think it's always important to start with a mission, and the mission of PIVX could not be clearer, is to become a leading cryptocurrency that empowers, protects, and delights those who touches it. And the focus on PIVX is privacy, and privacy is seen as a fundamental human right. And we do not take that lightly, because at the moment we live in a highly technical driven environment, and more or less everything we do is being captured either via the internet or AI or any sort of technology. So it's almost impossible to have a degree of privacy that let you do your own thing. And we want to make sure that the blockchain is not becoming something like the internet that is completely monitored and everything is centralized. So it's important that the decentralized aspect of PIVX was captured into the blockchain, and that is precisely what PIVX has done. It's a community-driven and a community-governed project that embraces decentralization and focuses on privacy. Privacy is a fundamental human right. And there's way too much compromise of our privacy, let's say in social media and because of AI. I actually dare to say that if we had a better focus and a grasp of attention for privacy, I don't think that social media would have been developed in the way it currently has developed. If we came to the realization earlier of the infringement of our privacy, we would not let that go so far as it has gone. And we want to make sure that blockchain does not become that space, but also gives you a place and you an opportunity to observe your privacy. Would you like me to go on with the next question, Mila? Because I think you're muted at the moment.
Oh, yeah, so sorry, I have lost connection again. So, yeah, sure, it would be nice if you could go to the next question. I think that, sure. So we could discuss the team behind PIVX, right? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. And well, actually, the really the cheeky answer would be team. What team? We don't have a team, and that sounds really bad, but actually it is not. It is on the contrary. It is actually one of our core assets that we do not have a team that is in charge. Yes, we have tens and dozens of volunteers who passionately and very committed focus and deliver on PIVX each and every day. But we do not have a team with a director and a CEO or a manager in charge. No, we are a decentralized project. So the volunteers run the project, and everyone is passionate, is committed, and is driven. And in that sense, you and you, Mila, me, Hans, and our audience, and the PIVX community at large, that is our team. We are a community-designed governance project, and in that sense, we are all the team, we are all PIVX.
Nice. Thank you for your insights about your team. I think we could move to questions about PIVX network, about more, its technology and talking. So if you meet a person who have never heard about PIVX network and you can describe it just in simple words, how you can do that, explain it like I'm 5. I suppose that not only, so I suppose some maybe guys who are listening us maybe have not so great background as you, for example, and it would be nice if you could share, just tell more about it in easy words.
Yeah, well, if I had to explain it like a 5-year-old, I would probably say, well, it's way past your bedtime, you need to go to bed. But joking aside, if I had to explain PIVX to a younger person, I would probably explain it. It's something that can help you do things without other people knowing, and give someone money, receive some money without other people knowing that you gave the money or that you received the money. That, I think, is the simplest way in explaining what PIVX is and what PIVX does. Now, taking the 5-year-old out of the equation and talking more to adults, I guess we could then say it is an anonymous peer-to-peer cryptocurrency, or it gives you the opportunity to be anonymous peer-to-peer cryptocurrency. It was founded in 2015, launched early 2016, and the reason it was founded was precisely because we wanted to focus on privacy. And the good things are many good things on PIVX, but one of the few things are it's an open source project, so you can actually check the source code. It is a decentralized peer-to-peer cryptocurrency. It offers you privacy. It has a proof of stake algorithm. It offers fast transactions, and it offers transactions with low fees. And the community design governance aspect is very important and also relatively unique, unfortunately, within the crypto community ecosystem. It runs and functions as a true DAO. That means we're not a legal entity. We do not have a CEO. No one is specifically or uniquely charged. And the funding is more or less self-funding. And there hasn't been, there wasn't an ICO, there hasn't been API mining, but the funding itself comes from PIVX itself. And how we can operate and manage that is by keeping our burn rate as low as possible. We can actually run on a skeleton financial budget. And we have proven to do that for 7-8 years now. So the proof of concept is definitely there, that it is a mature project, that it is a sustainable project. And one of the things it uses is that's the SHIELD protocol. And the SHIELD protocol is used for user data protection. So you can experience the freedom to become a global digital cash. You can be your own bank, you have full control over your own assets, and you don't need to be accountable to others over your expenditure of your assets. So that, I would say, is the nutshell of what PIVX is and does.
Okay, great. I think I heard that you said that this project can give you a chance to do transactions and maybe other activities and don't let people to know about your actions.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a great feature. I think that many crypto fans truly value security and immunity, can love it. Maybe you can mention something else. What makes PIVX unique?
Okay, well, I definitely think that the zero knowledge snarks protocol is very unique. It's been developed by PIVX, and that enables and offers us the level and of privacy we feel you as a user, you as a consumer are entitled to. One thing I mentioned earlier already, and probably will going to mention a few more times, is the community-driven governance aspect. We can all decide the direction of PIVX. We can all decide what kind of process we want to support. We can all decide to submit the proposal. We can all decide to get involved. So that's a very important aspect of PIVX, and also, dare to say, makes it unique. Furthermore, we have the multi-purpose aspect of the masternodes. And the masternodes can be used for voting, and it can be used for staking. So the multi-purpose aspect of masternode is definitely a good aspect of PIVX, as well as the proof of stake consensus. And for one of the older projects, we are relatively one of the early ones. We are one of the early ones who actually adopted proof of stake. Because you might remember that Ethereum, for instance, they swapped to proof of stake a while ago, and they were proof of work. And I would not be surprised if the choice that PIVX made to become proof of stake will prove to be also leading for the industry for mature and grown-up projects. So that all, I would say, makes PIVX a unique and uniquely capable project.
Thanks for these great insights. And there is one more question to or discussion about PIVX network. So I think that right now, especially in the bear market, that constant so maybe you can share some know facts like something we're doing maybe somehow audience your community or do something else.
I'm afraid I have to say that I was unable to hear your question, Mila. It sounded like you were talking from a can of corned beef almost. I'm sorry, but I couldn't hear the question. Were you talking about the utility aspect of PIVX? Okay, I assume for argument's sake that you were talking about the utility aspect of the PIVX token, and well, you can more or less capture what PIVX does in four components. First of all, it's a payment tool, a peer-to-peer encrypted payment opportunity. Second of all, it gives you privacy, so that's the second utility. But from a community aspect, there are also other aspects, and that is voting. You can become involved in the decision within the PIVX community and the PIVX proposals. And fourthly, staking is an important aspect, so you can actually earn by staking your coins. So the four utilities of the PIVX will be payment, privacy, voting, and staking.
Okay, great. Thank you for telling more about PIVX talking. Yeah, it was one more question about PIVX project too. You have already mentioned community, that community matters in PIVX, and
yes.
you have a government option for them. So maybe you can share something more about like what type of community is around that PIVX project, how it influenced that PIVX development, maybe how you communicate with them or something more.
Yeah, well, there are lots of ways, and I think it more or less, what you're asking is involvement, and involvement goes two ways. Me as a consumer want to be involved, as a user want to be involved in the project, and me as a project want you to become involved, and that's the interaction what you're talking about. And I think it's important to talk about interaction because it is give and it is take. You need to bring and you receive. It's no such thing as only taking something out of it. You can only take something out of it. You can use value if you add to it. And that is precisely what everyone within the PIVX community does. And that's how I personally also see my role. I have an involvement at the moment in PIVX, and I want to make sure that once at that one point in time I might leave PIVX, I want to make sure that PIVX is in a better shape than when I got into it. And if we all do that, we continuously make sure that PIVX grows as a project and becomes more and more important within the ecosystem. So always find that symbiosis of doing something and receiving something is very important. But that said, there are lots of ways you can get involved in the community. And I think one of the easiest and the simplest things you could do or should do is go to Discord, go to Twitter, go to Telegram, join the groups, be part of the discussion, learn, listen, ask, tell. Right? That is an important part of interaction. And it might only be that you start with listening. And it might only be that once you feel a bit more comfortable that you're going to ask a question. And then you're going to discuss. And then you're going to tell. So it's important that you become part of that educational aspect. And PIVX encourage you to be part of that educational ecosystem. Secondly, we always have a shortage, we always have a need for volunteers. And it doesn't matter how limited it is, everyone can make a contribution. And PIVX works on the basis of meritocracy. That means that if you can do something, you can do it for us. And if you're good at that, we're more than happy to have you be responsible for a certain aspect or a certain project, or make a certain commitment or contribution to a project. Also, if you think I want to be even more involved, well, you're free and welcome to submit a proposal. If you feel this is an important direction, or this is an important project or task or job that could be done for PIVX, well, launch a proposal, get funding, organize it, and get it done. And I think one of the other things that's quite important is we have ambassadors. And we usually have that on language basis. And we have them in Germany, we have them in the Portuguese language. It's important that we get more ambassadors on board who help promote, stimulate, and advocate for PIVX. Like I'm doing now in this AMA, I'm doing this for everyone who's willing to listen, but we also have it for specific languages, because I am very much aware of the fact that not everyone speaks English, not everyone is confident and comfortable enough to fully grasp or understand what I'm saying, and it is sometimes easier and better to hear it in your mother tongue. And I'm not insulted by that, on the contrary, as long as you get the message. So ambassadors are very important, and I do know that our ambassadors, especially the Brazilian one, is extremely passionate, extremely committed, and very helpful. So there are lots of ways you can become involved in the community and in the community aspect and in the ecosystem of PIVX. And it is always an open door policy.
I would like to add that that's a great idea, that making, for example, different communities that are working on different languages is a key to attract more new users. I was truly amazed when we were sharing content about PIVX project, infographic guide, and so on, and we have so much reposts from accounts that were not English.
Yes.
And we have a chance to communicate with them too. And I was truly amazed by that. That's great. I love it.
Good.
As a person who is working in international project too, ChangeHero is an international project. We have people from different countries that speaks not only English and so on. It's always interesting for me to see it, like something the same in another project. So, okay, I think it would be nice to discuss challenges and maybe some achievements that PIVX team faced previously.
Yeah.
So, would you like to maybe tell us what are the biggest challenges PIVX team has faced previously while building the project? And if you have some remarkable achievements, you can share them too. It would be great.
Yes. Well, first of all, when it comes to achievements, coming from a decentralized background as PIVX is, in a way we are modest and perhaps also a little uneasy to talk about our achievements, because we don't want to boast and we want to let our actions speak louder than the words. But I also realize that being modest is also not very common in the crypto industry, I guess. But it's also something that is the Achilles heel of decentralization in a way. And I got mixed feelings on that, because I'm not a person who wants to take credit. I'm not a person who feel that you need to shout off the rooftop, look at me, this is what we've done, we are so great, and we're the best thing since sliced bread. But also, I think it's important to showcase and to demonstrate what you have achieved, what you have done, and what your role and your part in the ecosystem of blockchain and cryptocurrency. So it is a bit of a mixture in that sense. But since you asked, yes, we definitely have some fair achievements, and I think the biggest one obviously would be the privacy protocol integration effort. when PIVX started, it started with the zero coin, and that proved to be a broken protocol. So within our developers, they spent half a year, 9 months on developing the code to let the people safely convert from the zero coin environment to the transparency of the PIVX community and the ecosystem without any risk. Then it took almost a year and a half to develop the zero knowledge SNARKs protocol, and PIVX was the first proof of stake protocol to do so. So that's definitely, I would say, an enormous claim of fame. Secondly, I also dare to say that PIVX has been instrumental in putting privacy on the map and putting privacy on the awareness radar of people. We are till today instrumental in the process, and that is not something we should underestimate. And thirdly, as a major achievement, that again brings me to the community and to the governance aspect of that. We set a high new standard. We set a high new benchmark, and I would like to see other projects follow suit in that benchmark, in that standard. I really, really would like to see that and encourage that. But when the second part of your question is obviously, we have achieved certain things, but it doesn't mean that we can lean back and think, everything is hunky-dory, everything is fine, we can relax. No, there's still challenges, and I guess an overall challenge or an overall concern is that I would like to see that privacy becomes a commodity. And with that, I mean that it becomes something so logical, so normal, that it is understood, that it is accepted, that it is implied in what it is and what we do. And at the moment, privacy is still sometimes a hard-fought battle. Even explaining to people the concept of privacy and the importance of privacy is still a big issue. A lot of people still say, well, I got nothing to hide. Well, of course you do. We all have something. But that aside, see privacy as a commodity. That would be our overall challenge, I would say. But comes it more specific, more down to earth for specifically PIVX, I would say our overall challenges or wish lists, I should say, would be that PIVX becomes an even bigger, intricate player in the ecosystem. That we become synonymous with being an advocate for privacy and a token, and a coin and project for privacy. Secondly, I would like to see our community even more buoyant and even more vibrant and even more diverse. That is something I would really applaud to happen. And lastly, I do believe that micropayments will become an important part within the crypto and blockchain ecosystem. Look at gamify, the metaverse, etc. And combine that with privacy, people having aliases and avatars. So we are ideally catered to fill that gap, to fill that void. Enabling us to be part of that ecosystem and also be able to go via different protocols. I would like to see that happen. So that would be the overall challenges I would say I would like to see for PIVX.
Awesome. Thank you for your some thoughts on privacy in crypto. I love the suggestion, not the suggestion, but the idea that sometimes some people think that, well, I have nothing to hide.
Yes.
Yeah. But sometimes even the information that you think that won't hurt you, not hurt, but maybe like some information that you could share on the internet, or I don't know, while doing some transactions with fiat money. It could be used by some projects, I don't know, people, and you couldn't be ready for that. And privacy is one way to secure your information. So yeah, I really love it.
Good. Happy to hear that.
So I think it would be cool. Yes, we could speak more about future.
Yes.
So that's the second part of 2023. I think everybody knows that the last year, this year was quite challenging for crypto industry.
Yeah.
So not only for cryptocurrencies, but I mean like project like ChangeHero, it's not a cryptocurrency, but a crypto project. And we are influenced by all of these things that are happening in market.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your expectations for the second part of 2023? What do you think it's going to be like for the crypto market?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, and I probably need a crystal ball to answer it. But my 5 cents is that there definitely positive development still, and innovation keeps going. Just look at what happened in the ecosystem. Yeah, we've got NFTs, we've got smart contracts, Web3, Metaverse, DeFi spin-offs. So a lot of innovation has happened and is happening, and I see that as positive. Secondly, the idea of tokenization, everything. I strongly believe in that, but ultimately everything will go digital and everything will be tokenized, which means there has to be a reliable, fast, secure, and private blockchain to provide that. That would obviously be good news for PIVX. I also believe there's still a lot of money and there's still a lot of need in the market for projects. But there's also, a bit on the downside, and that I think momentum is waning. Institutional adaptation is a bit aloof at the moment. Last year there was a higher appetite than there is now. We had obviously a bit of a shakeout with big names like FTX, for instance, as an exchange. That makes some anxiety and nervousness in the market. But also a company like Meta, they say, okay, we're going to invent and conquer and shape and form the metaverse. Now it's completely halted. But there are also some bottlenecks in the market still. Resources, developers are still good developers are really short in short demand. They are in high demand, so that means there's a shortage. Auditing for smart contracts, programmers. There's still some regulatory ambiguity. Are we going after crypto or not going after crypto? The role of stablecoins and CBDCs. So there's a lot of nervousness in that sense and uncertainty in the market. But coming overall back to your question, how do I see the market? I'm still positive because I do see that, and I call them the big money corporations, shift to a multi-tech approach. AI, machine learning, RPA, robotic process automation, blockchain. They all see value in that, they see uses in that, and they want to add serious money to that. And there's one thing that ties AI, ML, and robotic automation together, and that's blockchain. So blockchain in that sense is well suited and located. So that makes me very positive about it. So as PIVX, obviously we monitor the market and see what has happened, but we do not make predictions about now you need to buy PIVX because now it's the right investment. I never do that. I feel everyone needs to make his or her own choices. But if there is uncertainty in the market like there is, well, use that time. Research, read, educate yourself even further. I've been in the blockchain and the crypto for about 7-8 years. I still read, I still learn every day. And I encourage you to do so. And one of the things I think is important that we do as a community to make sure that we actually get from a bear to a bull is have use cases, have adaptation, show growth, and demonstrate that we're more than just get quick, rich, and a money-grabbing scheme. There is so much more to blockchain. There is so much more to crypto project than getting rich quick. Yes, making money is nice. I'm not insulted with making money. Why should I? Everyone likes that. But we need to demonstrate as a community, as an ecosystem, that there's more, much more, that we could do. And we can do that by developing real use cases, showing growth and showing adaptation and showing maturity and education. And if I tie that into privacy, I would say that the future for us, tie that into PIVX, I would say that the future is all about privacy, transparency, and perhaps also that people will go more to a DEX instead of a SEX, or from the DEX becoming more used. So for me, again, it's about use cases and about maturity as the ecosystem, and that's where I see that will unlock us to the next bull run.
Well, I would like to join your words. You said that you're feeling positive about the future. You told us that, the future is more about privacy, about how to say that.
Well, the future is about use cases and showing.
Use
showing
cases,
And the French call it the raison d'être. Why do we exist? Show a reason why we're there. And that reason is, it is an unimaginable, beautiful thing, the blockchain. It has so much potential and it can add so much value to our lives. We simply need to demonstrate. Because don't forget, we are only the 1% at the moment. And the whole world is 100%. But only 1% of the people actually know what blockchain is and appreciate it as something that is of use. So we're so in its infancy. That also means that we have a responsibility to train, educate, to guide, and to embrace and to help new people getting into the community.
I would like to add that technology is great, but I think it could go really like the bull run makes not only it is usually made not only by technologies, by new things that are happening, for example, in the crypto industry, but it seems to me that the audience is important too. Like I'm feeling positive about the future because it seems to me that the new bull market will came with new audience that is not non-coiners that are going to, for example, join crypto industry and for different reasons. Maybe some people can realize like that privacy matters, right? And that all their usual fiat transaction can be seen by everyone, and they, for example, could like just heard about PIVX and they think, oh well, maybe I should move to crypto and feel more secured. And additionally, I was thinking about that maybe the whole instability of in the world right now, economics makes people it makes people find new ways of maybe investing their money or looking for new technology that will help them to make transactions fast, easy. Between different countries, and that I was thinking that would be a reason why a lot of a great number of people going to move to crypto that will push that new bull run. So I'm feeling about the future positive too, and I hope to see it soon. Maybe not in 2023, but maybe in 1 year, maybe in 2 years.
Correct.
So, Thank you for sharing your expectations. I'm not a perfect, I can say that I have a great tech background, but as a person who is always watching crypto news, I'm truly market news. So I'm trying to understand like when the bull run will start based on the news, based on some important events that are happening in, I don't know, on Twitter, society, and so on. So yeah, of course we could like discuss plans for the future of PIVX network. Can you share some of your upcoming updates, like partnerships or maybe new, I don't know, project that you're going to add to, your main project?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. That's a good question. Thanks for asking that. Well, first of all, we've already completed a lot, and I would actually invite people to go to the PIVX.org website and then click on Roadmap, and that gives you an overview of a lot of the accomplishments PIVX has already done, what is currently being in development, what's being tested, and what's being planned. So you can actually see the whole roadmap. Because as a decentralized community, we are transparent, we are open, and you are actually part of it. So have a look at pivx.org/roadmap, and that gives a perfect overview of activities we currently have done. So what we recently completed was, the new Shield protocol, the peer-to-peer networking flow optimization, a tier 2 network synchronization, the in-wallet proposal creation. So there are a couple of things that have been completed already, but there are also obviously things in the pipeline that are currently being tested or being developed. And that has, the multi-sig forks, for instance, masternode optimization, shield staking. So there are a couple of things that are currently being tested / developed. But if you ask, what's our current focus or where we look at, well, personally, I because everyone looks at different aspects. If you were to ask me, I would say, lower the entry overall as a project, make it easy accessible, make it simple, make it understandable for everyone. That's why I liked your question in the beginning. Explain it to me like I'm 5-year-old. And that is precisely what crypto projects in general lack. The difficult. You need to be smart, you need to be technical, you need to be savvy. There's a lot of hurdles you need to jump over before you actually feel comfortable enough to go into crypto. That's wrong. That is fundamentally flawed. And that also prevents people from entering the community. So I'm all for lowering the entry levels for community involvement and also for voting. At the moment, the voting goes via masternodes, for instance. A masternode is 10,000 PIVX. That in itself, to me, I find a hurdle. Although PIVX is extremely cheap at the moment, that still means it's $2,500 in order to have a master. That can be elitist. That does shun a certain group of people, demographic, from participating in that voting. That I find an issue. We need to work on that. That for me is a priority. Mobile wallets, micropayments. As I said, if you see a lot of developments, let's say in DeFi or in the metaverse, I do believe we need to cater to micropayments, private micropayments, and PIVX would be ideally catered for that. Again, check the website. But actually, if you think, well, Hans, you had a nice talk, but I'm really missing something. Well, there's one thing you can do about it and one thing you should do about it. Write a proposal. Talk to the community, write a proposal, and submit it. Do something about it.
Wow, so inspiring. Thank you. We go through all questions for our agenda today, but I have an additional list of short questions that are made just for fun, just to share our personal thoughts, our advice maybe. So I will ask you, what will you choose and why? You can answer shortly or not shortly. Don't take it serious. It was made just for fun. Okay, so what will you choose and why? Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Bitcoin.
Why?
And I was very fast in that. And quickly to explain, Bitcoin to me is our alma mater. It's the mother of all crypto. And I also believe that the decentralized aspect of Bitcoin set the standard, and I miss that standard in Ethereum. So for me, it's Bitcoin over Ethereum.
I love that you named it Mother of Crypto, like Mother of Dragons, but Mother of Crypto. Well, the same about me. I would choose Bitcoin because it's digital gold and like the primary cryptocurrency. Everything is like started from Bitcoin. What would you choose? Trading or long-term investing?
I would say long-term investing. And that would be for me personal, because I don't have the insight to do trading. I'm not smart enough to do that. I don't have the time to do that. And I don't have the nerves to do that.
Nice.